much, Mr. Chairman. On the line item 6302, training for 2014, there have been an increase of some $2.2 million. Can the Honorable Minister explain the reason for the increase and who are the beneficiaries and the amount of persons expected to be trained?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, the increase is due in large measure to the fact that more training activities, especially in-house training, is planned for 2014. And this is as a result of the large influx of new staff, especially doctors, the need to upgrade, the need for refresher training for staff, such as pharmacy assistants, lab aides, psychiatric patient care assistants, etc. It should be noted also that in our pursuit of the achievement of the Millennium Development Goal as it relates to health care, the aim was also to provide opportunity for upgrade of midwives in dealing with complicated deliveries and care for newborn. So in short, it's intensifying and a broadening of training programs available, training activities available, and making these available to a larger number of healthcare providers.
Thank you, honourable members. I would like to put the question, and that is that we accept the sum sought for health services, current expenditures, program 765, region number 6. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Thank you. These will go forward. Please turn now to pages 465 and 466. We consider the capital expenditures for region number 6's health services. Dr. Collins.
Yes, for the Honorable Minister, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Tell us where the ambulance will be located. Where will the ambulance be located? Project code 2402000. Purchase of motorcycles and ambulance. Where will the ambulance be located? And the second question is 2504300. The purchase of furniture and equipment. I noticed that there's the purchase of ultrasound and cardiac monitors and pulse oximeters. Where will this be placed?
Chairman, the ambulance will be located in Maipuri, Blackpool. And with respect to the other part of the question that deals with furniture and equipment, one ultrasound machine for the Skeleton Hospital, the estimated cost is $6 million. 2 cardiac monitors, New Amsterdam and Skeleton Hospitals, estimated cost $5 million. 1 500 kVA generator, New Amsterdam Hospital, estimated cost $18 million. And the other instrument you call with that fanciful name, can you pronounce it for me, please?
The pulse oximeters?
That's they're 15, and they will be located in New Amsterdam, Port Moran, Maipuri, Skeleton Hospital, Bohemia, Brothers, Crabwood, Quick Health Center, New Amsterdam, no, that's Crabwood Quick Health Center. Okay.
Thank you.
Honourable members, I wish to put a question that is the sum sought for capital expenditures for health services, region number 6. We accepted. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Thank you. Members, this concludes our review of the estimates for region number 6. Again, I'd like to thank the Minister and the technical support staff that assisted in being able to provide answers. Minister, I remind you again that a number of documents are to be, Minister, I remind you that a number of documents are to be delivered to members. So please take a note so that we can ensure that they are delivered. Thank you. Members, I invite you to turn your attention to pages 346 and 347 as we begin consideration of region number 7, Kuyuni Mazaruni, and its current and capital expenditures beginning with program 771, Regional Administration and Finance. Before we start formally, I'd just like to say that it is my expectation, hope and expectation that we can finish all the regions today, even though regions 9 and 10 are slated for tomorrow. We're going to make an effort to complete the regions today. So I'm told that the officials from those 2 regions are standing by, and so if they're here, I'm asking your indulgence, craving your indulgence rather, for us to proceed. So with that said, members, please turn to pages 346, 347, and I propose a question that we consider the current expenditures for region number 7, program 771, Regional Administration and Finance. I recognize the Honourable Member Ms. Hastings. Proceed, please, Honourable Member.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Line item 6116, contracted employees. I've observed that the number of contracted employees remains the same. My question to the Honourable Minister, is there any increase in their wages, and if so, why is it not reflected under that line item? Because the cost remains the same.
The answer is no. There has been no increase, and therefore there is no need for any change.
Line item 6255, maintenance of other infrastructure. I've noticed that it's a new project. It costs, estimated cost of $10,499,000. Could the Honourable Minister explain what other infrastructure?
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Chairman, 5 projects that will be implemented in keeping with program budgeting. This item that was previously captured on the public works is now being placed on their respective programs. We're going to fence the DRU's quarters in Bartiga. We're going to fence the stores compound in Bartiga and the admin compound. We're going to do some general repairs to the stores once in Bartiga and Cameron. And we're going to clear the fallen trees in the waterways of the Cameron River. We're going to do approximately 25 miles of that. 25 miles.
Thank you. Could you Minister be kind enough to let me have a little copy of the project. Line item 6242, maintenance of buildings, $18,999,000. I'd be happy if you can give me a written copy of all the buildings that are to be maintained and where.
There are a number of buildings that will be rehabilitated, including the DRU's living quarters and the regional admin building. That's in Bartiga. The RDO's living quarters in Bartiga. The Detroit building in Bartiga. The daycare center and the living quarters number 813. At a cost totaling just under $19 million.
Honourable members, there are a number of members speaking to ask questions. Mr. Felix, Mr. Trotman, Mr. Ravindra, and I see Dr. Wong. So I think that with that order, please proceed, Mr. Peters.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. To the Honorable Minister, please let me take you back to item 6111, administrative. The revised last year was 9403, and this year it is 9477 when the number of employees remain the same. Could you please explain?
Chairman, I'm informed that that increase is due to some adjustments in the salaries of the registry supervisor. The 8 employees under this category are listed here. Deputy REO, Senior Personnel Officer, Chief Accountant, Assistant REO, Personnel Officer 2, Registry Supervisor, the District Development Officer. And that increase to which the other member refers has to do with the adjustment in the emoluments of the registry supervisor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Minister. Mr. Minister, please address your attention to 6251, 6252. Like Northwest, isn't there any road under the regional administration to be repaired? I see no money is allocated to roads and bridges.
Mr. Chairman, the honorable member will see that when we get on the public works.
Thank you very much. 6281, security. Could you please say which is the security service providing the service and how many locations are involved?
This will be, Mr. Chairman, strategic security services.
Pardon me?
Strategic.
Strategic, I'm hearing correctly?
Yes. And there are 7 locations where security services will be provided.
All right, my only statement on strategic is to advise that it's like putting the cap.
No, please, Mr. Felix. Mr. Felix, no. If you wish to impugn a company, you may do so in a formal motion. To make a statement like that against a company, I try to find your problem. You may bring a motion to discuss a company at some time or a professional.
On your advice, Mr. Speaker, to withdraw. But we still have the question here.
You may say that there are question marks, you have issues, but I will not allow it.
We still note the 100% increase in the cost of providing that security. Could the minister explain, provide us with a written statement as to the reasons for the increase?
We will provide details which will show how the amount of $11.5 million has been paid to the service provider, how we arrived at that.
Has there been any increase in the 7 locations?
What has increased is the rates. What has increased is the consideration for the service of the contract. But the number of locations, the number of security remain the same.
I recognize other members, Mr. Trotman, followed by Mr. Guerrero and Dr. Norton.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Minister, line item 6211, expenses for want to ask you a question. First part is this. How many meetings of the RDC have been allowed for on this year? And the second part is, what amount of money has been set aside in order to facilitate the functioning, the monitoring by councillors of works done works to be done in the
Mr. Chairman, this caters for 6 meetings. Okay, 6 meetings. In order to be able to pronounce on, as I pointed out on Friday evening, Mr. Chairman, there is no specific item on the expenses specific to the agenda that speaks to the issue of funds allocated for monitoring. Monitoring is a continuous exercise that is not dependent specifically on this. Okay? So when councillors are coming to meetings, they can stop at various communities and visit projects. On the same trip, while they're going back from meetings, as per agreement, they can stop and visit projects. Also, many of them are members of committees that are involved specifically in monitoring. Works committees, they are members of finance committee, health committee, education committee, agricultural committee, and that provides another medium by which they can do monitoring exercise.
Follow-up question, Mr. Chairman. Bear in mind, sir, what the Auditor General has said in his report about the works of regional administration. Is the minister satisfied? Can the minister really believe that in relation to the anomalies which have been addressed by the Auditor General, the anomalies which have been addressed by the Auditor General, that the work of regional councillors can be properly carried out in the way in which he's saying that it should be carried out, that it should be a kind of a hazard approach? Are you saying that you're satisfied? I'm referring to line item 6211. And I'm asking if it is the haphazard approach that you have enunciated should be undertaken by councillors will best address the way in which money is for the development in the region could be looked at.
Mr. Chairman, the honorable member is seeking an opinion. And I thought that we would be dealing with the facts that are before us. Okay? The facts before us is that there is an allocation of $17 million for RDC-related works in the region. The fact also is that the RDC is able to do adjustments within these parameters. Those are the facts.
The fact, Mr. Chairman, is that the minister himself has said that monitoring of work should be undertaken by councillors on the way to and from meetings of the RDC.
Yes.
That is not what the system requires.
One second, please.
I didn't say that.
Yes.
What I heard, two things. One is that throughout these consideration of these estimates, I have heard individual members of parliament saying that they would like to have access to the document because they want to undertake their own personal visits. That is not part of the system. So there's nothing stopping a councillor, but I thought I heard the minister say that they could, but I don't know that it's a statutory function of theirs. But any one of us, I think as servants of the public have a duty, and if we see a school and we know that it's going badly or a road being done, we can report it. But Minister, what is your comment? What is your
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, first of all, monitoring at the level of the Ministry of Local Government and Regional Development, we have shared in the 10 regions and we will continue to, that monitoring, though an integral and important activity of the RDC, is not limited to the RDC. So we are encouraging monitoring right down to the community level. Okay? So we don't want you to feel that if councillors by design or due to resources no monitoring will not take place. That is not so. Secondly, I did not say or even inform that councillors monitoring is limited to going and visit project on your way to or from RDC. That is ridiculous. I'm saying that you can increase the level of your monitoring by utilizing all these opportunities. But somebody seems to feel that there's an item in the budget saying $5 million for monitoring and we can access this. It's not so. Okay?
I get the impression that you don't want it to be so.
That's your impression. That's your impression.
I recognize you, please, Ms. Valerie, what do you know?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Line item 6113, other technical and craft skills. Honorable Minister, I know since you have 4 on staff here, can you say what positions they occupy, what are their designations? And also for the 24 contracted employees, 6160. Thank you.
Chairman, the 4 employees categories will be information officer, assistant accountant, storage keeper 3, and storage keeper 2.
6116 contracted employees, what are their designations?
Mr. Chairman, contracted employees. The categories will be captain engineer, assistant field auditor, and I'm giving them in the order of seniority stroke emoluments. Captain engineer, assistant field auditor, clerk 2, general, accounts clerk 2. Then there is the office assistant, typist clerk, caretakers, stores attendant, cleaners 2, handyman, radio operator. Those are the categories.
Thank you. Honorable Minister, are they located in one office, that is the head office, or you have a branch office?
Some are in Bartica office, some at Cameron office.
Thank you. 6223, office materials and supplies. 4 million is allocated there. Honorable Minister, can you say how many offices you will be using this 4 million, will benefit from this 4 million, and the locations of the offices? And how much money will be allocated to each of the offices?
Will be, Mr. Chairman, both administrative offices at Bartica and Cameron.
I did ask how much money will be allocated to each office.
It will be 1.5 million for the Cameron office and 2.5 million for the Barclay office.
Thank you. Line item 6224, print and non-print materials, 1.75 million. Honorable Minister, what do you really intend to print? Thank you. Can you explain this, please?
Print and non-print includes things like tender advertisement costs is captured under this item, newspapers, photocopiers, ink for the computers, that's all.
Thank you. But the ink for the computers can fall under office materials and supplies. Print and non-print materials pay for hosting. Thank you.
Members, I recognize Dr. Martin.
Mr. Chairman, item 6262, electricity charges. In 2013, 2012, there's nothing there. We have a new project here, $6 billion. You say what it is.
And I ask the honorable member to just repeat.
Honorable member, could you please repeat the question?
6272. 6272. Electricity charges. Not in 2012, not in 2013. Here we have 6 million in 2014. 8 million rather.
Mr. Chairman, earlier on I referred to the master program budgeting. And so in prior years, if you check, it would have been captured under the public works program. Now, because we want to bring it in line with our COVID budgeting.
Honorable member, Ms. Ferguson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Just an observation, 6231, fuel and lubricants. And if you look at project code 6264, there is no provision for monies there. So my question to the Honorable Minister, one, what would we use for fuel and lubricants? And my other question is whether there's any vehicles in the region, because as I said before, if you're using fuel and lubricants, obviously you must have vehicles that you would service from time to time. But there's no provision for this at project code number 6264.
Mr. Chairman, there are two questions. The first one has to do with fuel and lubricants. There are a number of vehicles, machinery that provincial region is required to provide fuel and lubricants. These include a Cameron 204 engine, the 40 horsepower, and in 25, and also an ATV, which is also a slash and deal. At Bartica, there is a 75 outboard engine, motorcycle, and slasher. The other question has to do with the provision of electricity, of utility services, and the line item under which they are captured. Vehicle spares and services, yes. Under regional admin and finance, it's a zero. But if you check underneath the programs, education, health, and public works, you will see allocations to cover